The MO of the Packers would be get rid of Jair. Get the cap savings, move on from an often injured player who isn't the best culture fit ultimately, right, for I think what Matt LaFleur is trying to do. Do we think that the Packers need to get away from what they normally do in order to take that next step? We'll hit it next. Sunday Karma across ESPN Wisconsin.
This is Sunday Karma with Craig Karmazin on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com. Baseball season. So close you could almost smell it.
Off the top of the wall and out of here! Garrett Mitchell, a go-ahead two-run home run in the bottom of the eighth inning.
The Brewers are back on the field for spring training. Catch Cactus League action right here on 94.5 ESPN Sunday, February 23rd.
For more than 40 years, Network Health has been the trusted experts in health plans. Just like you, they're honest, hardworking, and grateful to call Wisconsin home. Whether you're seeking coverage for yourself, your family, or your employees, Network Health has you covered with a range of options, including individual and family marketplace plans, employer plans, and Medicare Advantage plans. Call Steve Llewellyn, Saganiac Planning, 262-783-6161. 262-783-6161. Saganiac Planning, a name synonymous with employee benefits and top-notch service. The Saganiac Planning Marquette basketball greatest scorers. Marcus Howard has all the records at Marquette, and his greatness might also be best explained by saying he passed George Thompson. Thompson, 1,773 points when finishing in 1969. It was the Marquette career mark until 2009, 40 years later. And with Marcus Howard, Thompson the only player averaging over 20 points per game for a career. George Thompson, not number one, but he belongs in the same room with Marcus Howard.
Hey, this is Jen Latta from Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. One of the best decisions I've made was getting my infrared sauna from Good Health Saunas. Based right in Appleton and Waukesha, they've been around for 2 decades. Good Health Saunas are easy to install, cost as little as 25 cents a day, and even include a true lifetime warranty. Plus, the health benefits aren't a bad addition either. Learn about Good Health's options at goodhealthsaunas.com/Jen, and you can get $500 to $800 off your purchase. Remember, that's goodhealthsaunas.com/Jen.
So many of our youth carry unimaginable burdens. Anger, depression, even thoughts of suicide. At Rawhide Youth Services, we recognize their pain. We help them find hope and healing. For those that need a second chance at life, we refuse to give up on them. Please be a part of our life-saving work. When you donate your used vehicle to Rawhide, you're helping change the lives of countless youth in our communities. Go to rawhide.org/donate and help them realize a brighter future today.
Some things are fine to buy from a vending machine, but despite what a certain national online company tells you, a car's not one of them.
Let's see. Cheese Doodles, Mr. Nougat Bar. Oh, here we go. Green 4-door hatchback. Honey, we're gonna need some more quarters.
Sure, they make it seem convenient, but it won't be so convenient if you have a problem with the vehicle you buy. And if it's after 7 days, good luck. Adam member dealers also let you search online. And unlike those national companies, you get to see the vehicle in person and test drive it before you buy it. You also have the assurance that the vehicle's been thoroughly tested, and if any issue does come up, your local Adam member dealer is right here to service it, and can also provide low financing and top dollar for your trade. Think about that before you take a chance with their so-called vending machine.
What? It's stuck! No! Oh, rats!
Start your search at ADAMM.com.
It's party time at Cousins Subs. For a limited time only, Cousins is bringing back their famous 2-foot party subs. Whether it's for a big game, family gathering, or work celebration, Cousins 2-foot party sub is sure to be a crowd pleaser. Choose from the club, ham and provolone, Italian special, or turkey. Each party sub is just $39.99, feeds 5 to 8 people, and requires 24-hour notice to order. Order in store, online, or on their app for a limited time. Cousins Subs. We believe in better.
Whether it's breaking Packers news, breaking Bucks news, or breaking Brewers news, we are Milwaukee's place for the biggest sports stories right when they happen. 94.5 ESPN. It's Sunday Karma with Craig Karmazin on ESPN Wisconsin and Wisconsin WisconsinOnDemand.com.
Please don't even front, stop being so fake. I know you do not like me and you made it very clear. You're always talking about me from what I hear. Always put me down when you talk.
Sunday Karma across ESPN Wisconsin. Kyle Wallace singing in Alex Strope's ear right now. Alex Strope, myself, Greg Scalzo.
I your ear too. I just don't want to distract you.
Can't distract me. 800-990-3776, 800-990-3776. The Carbos Talking text line. Hit us up on pretty much anything.
But we're talking Aaron Rodgers. I'm doing so good. Without you, Aaron.
What do you got against Aaron so much?
I love Aaron Rodgers, but
he's doing this again. I love him.
He's that toxic ex that you know what, it takes time to get over. When you get over it, now you say, look at me now.
Yeah, but the point is like, aren't you at a point in the breakup where you feel like, hey, thank you for everything that we did together because I found my next person and I'm happy now?
No, Greg.
Because like the person who's still
you got to stun on him
the
so
person
they see you're happy.
Well, here's the thing though. Here's what I'm worried about for you, Kyle. Is the person who's still upset with their ex means that even their current isn't living up to what they want. Because if you're truly happy with Jordan Love, you could forgive anything you need to forgive Aaron Rodgers for and embrace that part of your life.
He's right, I learned from my breakup many, many years, almost a decade ago, my first ever big breakup. I learned from that. It takes about 2 years before you start, 2 to 3 years before you start, not trying to stun on other people. Now you ain't worried about it, but we still in that window.
It's been 2 years.
Well, hold on.
Now we still in that stun.
It's been 2 years.
Hold on. That sounds like a you thing more than an overall concept.
All right, I'm not gonna air you out.
It sounds like you're petty.
800-990-3776. Steve chimes in and says, no Wildy today. Jason Wildy to join us here coming up.
In the 11 o'clock hour.
In the 11 o'clock hour. So quickly, Dick in downtown chimes in, says, no first-round wide receiver. It won't help us in 2025. I think the pitch to Devontae Adams is only way you get your number retired in Green Bay and make your Hall of Fame case. Bulletproof is coming back to Green Bay. 2-year, huge incentive deal with a nice signing bonus.
Informative take from Dick on the text line.
That is true. Ben Maxwell chimes in, says, glad I turned ESPN on this morning. Greg's the man. Thank you, Ben. Colin Duffy chimes in, says, Dirty D lost all credibility not knowing who Scalzo is. I don't know.
Did she not? Scalzo and Bruss was in Milwaukee market for 3 years, wasn't it?
Probably but I don't think
3 or 4 years.
I don't think Dirty D came along until Kyle came along.
No, Dirty D was around. Dirty Diana was around. She called in. I feel like she called in to Scalzo and Bruss.
I don't remember Dirty D.
Did she not? Did Dirty D just come with me?
Maybe. So. She's a Kyle Wallace fan.
Wow. Shout out to that. Shout out to Dirty D. Loyal day one.
Ron in the key chimes in, says, how is it working with Stroh for you, Greg, since he's the answer to the question, what would happen if Ben and Gabe had a son?
I don't know if I should be offended or complimented by that.
Oh. Wow.
You kind of are an interesting mix between Ben and Gabe.
What does that mean? What do you mean by that?
You got some of the idiosyncrasies, and I use the idio there pretty strong that Ben Brust has, but you have a certain level of broadcast professionalism and talent that Gabe has.
Well, that's a nice compliment.
You think that's fair, Kyle?
Very fair, actually. Very fair.
Yeah.
I'm high on Stroh.
Yeah, I mean, we all are.
Thanks, guys.
Big dog sitting courtside at the Bucks games.
Hey, Craig Karmazin came on Kyle Brust and Nortman on Friday, and he referred to me as his guy. So, yeah, I would say I'm a pretty damn big deal, Greg.
See, that's what he says when you work for free on Sundays. You become his guy.
Yeah.
You get paid in courtside seats. I'm happy to take. I'm happy to take the courtside seats.
Hey, just give me my salary, man. I'll show up on Sundays.
How much do the Packers need to deviate from what they normally do to take the next step?
Well, I'll answer significantly. They have to significantly deviate because of the fact that defensively we understand. Goody, you don't know how to draft defensive linemen. You don't know how to draft them at least in the first round. So at this point, we need to go away from that strategy. And I believe that the Green Bay Packers have a rare opportunity where you have 2 top-flight defensive linemen.
3? Don't forget about Trey Hendrickson.
That's another one, but I'm sure they're going to try to keep him. They're going to try their best, right? Cincinnati?
I mean, yeah.
Joe Burrow's talking about restructuring to try to keep pieces together.
Only so much money if you want both T. Higgins, who's on the franchise tag. That's not a cheap franchise tag.
That is true. But what I'm saying is that you have 2 guys that are looking to get out, right? In Green Bay, for both of those guys, you have one with Max Crosby that has a relationship with multiple people on your team. And then you have another in Myles Garrett who probably will look at Green Bay as a way and an opportunity for him to have a fresh start with an organization that has a young, up-and-coming quarterback. So you rarely have these opportunities where you can reach out to somebody and be like, hey, we'll offer you this trade package, and the player actually say, yeah, I want to go there. So this is his time to capitalize on this because the Green Bay Packers are a stud defensive lineman away from having an opportunity to really go to a Super Bowl. Without a Myles Garrett or a Max Crosby, not saying that you can't make it to the Super Bowl, but the journey and the road is much tougher than what it could be.
I think you're totally right, Kyle. And here's the thing with Brian Gutekunst is he willing to admit his shortcomings? Is he willing to admit his mistakes? That's the part, right? When you are a general manager in the National Football League, there's a healthy amount of ego that is necessary to succeed. You need to believe in yourself more than anybody else does. And I think Brian Gutekunst does believe in himself, looking at some of the moves he's made, right? Moving on from Aaron Rodgers. Moving on from Jordy Nelson as one of his first moves when he became the general manager. Drafting Jordan Love. Moving up to draft Jordan Love in 2020 when you still have Aaron Rodgers under contract. He's made a lot of bold decisions, and some of them, most of them, have paid off. But some of those first-round picks, as Kyle just alluded to, haven't paid off, right? Lucas Van Ness isn't working. You need help on the edge. So, A, you need to try to mend that relationship with Devontae Adams and BBD, bring back Devontae. And then you need to look at, is it worth trading a first-round pick or two to acquire a first-ballot Hall of Famer in Myles Garrett to alleviate the issue you have at defensive line and edge rusher? Will they do it? I would guess probably not. But it's something they at least need to seriously look into. And I know as Packers fans, we all love when we see the tweet from Adam Schefter that, quote-unquote, the Packers were in the mix. But I think it's necessary for guys like Myles Garrett and Max Crosby because they would significantly improve your shortcomings as general manager.
It's not just who you add, but it's also who you keep. ESPN ran a article on ESPN.com saying NFL offseason projecting daring, bold moves for each team. Rob Demovsky said that the bold move for the Green Bay Packers would be to not cut Jair Alexander. If they cut Jair Alexander, they'd gain $6.8 million in salary cap by cutting him now, more than $17 million if they designate him as a post-June 1 cut. Do you want to cut Jair Alexander? We'll hit it next. Sunday Karma. Jason Wilde scheduled to appear 11:30 with us this morning here on Sunday Karma. We'll also get to Brewers baseball starting up. And, of course, 2 tough losses over the weekend for Wisconsin and Marquette. Sunday Karma continues next.
You're listening to Sunday Karma with Craig Karmazin on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
Looking for a totally rad flavor adventure, brochachos? Look no further than Surfer Boy Pizza as seen in Stranger Things. Each mouth-watering variety contains rich tomato sauce, delicious mozzarella cheese, and a gnarly range of toppings. The crust is crispy on the outside and airy on the inside. You'll think it was hand-tossed by the Surfer Boy Pizza dudes themselves. Look for it in the freezer aisle at your local store and buckle up your taste buds with Surfer Boy Pizza.
Love is in the air at Potawatomi Casino Hotel, Milwaukee. This February, play to your heart's content in the Love It or Leave It $300,000 game show. Thursday night, you could love your prize or leave it for another. For a chance to cuddle up to thousands in cash and prizes, just play using your rewards card. Get ready to love it or leave it. Only at Potawatomi. Learn more at PaysBig.com. Must be 21 and a rewards member to play.
Hey, this is Brad Nortman, here to tell you about my friends at Bank 5-9. Everywhere I go throughout the area, I see Bank 5-9, and it's no wonder why. Not only do they have 14 branch locations, but their employees spend nearly 9,000 hours each year volunteering in the communities that they serve. That's on top of the financial support that they provide to several hundred nonprofits right here in southeastern Wisconsin. If you're looking for a true local community bank, check them out today at bank59.com. Member FDIC.
Ready to tackle your home improvement project this winter? Exterior Pros and Baths is here to help you score big with quality home exterior and shower upgrades. As a 5-time President's Club Award winner, Exterior Pros is not playing around. With flexible financing, it's never been easier to invest in your home without breaking the bank. Get started today and save $2,000. Visit extpros.com or call 262-800-4274. That's 262-800-4274. Trust the pros and kick off your home transformation today.
Hey, this is Brad Nortman from KBN. Tune in to Kyle Bruston Nortman every day from 2 to 5, WKTI and WKTI HD Milwaukee.
A locally owned Good Karma brand station.
Sunday Karma with Craig Karmazin on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
I know you've been treating yourself wrong, so let me care for you. Ooh, baby, I'ma love you differently. I'll give you electricity, give it to you.
Kyle Wallace, Alex Stroh, Greg Scalzo here with you on Sunday Karma. No Craig Karmazin today. We want you to call in, text in 800-990-3776. The Carbalist Talking text line across ESPN Wisconsin. List is more. Good energy here today. Before we jump back into Jair Alexander.
You're doing a good job, Greg, by the way.
I am?
This is probably, I love Craig. This is probably one of the more organized shows we have had since we kind of changed it. I can
It's the smoothest show we've had.
You're more comfortable sitting in a chair. You're actually turning off your own mic. You were mentally prepared for today.
I did this for a long time.
I know, but when you first came back, you were leaving your mic on. You said, I'm rusty.
Yeah.
And now, you are just flowing.
The rust is knocked off.
Yeah, it is.
It's a lot different when you lead than when you're not leading. You know what I mean? And I led for like 10 years. So,
So are you not comfortable not leading? Are you uncomfortable not leading?
It's not that I'm uncomfortable. It's just different. I'm not used to it as much. Like, not knowing where the show is going and then having to react is just a different experience than, like, sort of knowing where I want to take it.
That's how I was trained. That's how I brought up coming here every Sunday with Craig. I didn't know where we were going. I was just reacting.
Yeah, well, that's the best part of Sunday Karma. We all get a peek inside of Karmi's brain.
So, hold on. It seemed like you were going to derail us.
I was going to derail us quickly because you pointed out the furries that are here for the furry convention this week.
A lot of tails, right?
A lot of tails.
Some light-up tails.
How KBN, right? I don't want to give too much, influence of mine into KBN, which you can listen to 2 to 5 across ESPN Wisconsin. How is Bruss not dressed up with a furry tail, going with our wonderful social lead, Maddie Hayes, and doing a man on the street dressed as a furry at the furry convention?
I feel like Ben has reduced the amount of things that he does outside of work nonsense-wise once he had the baby.
Oh, you can't let him get away with that excuse. You could have done it in the middle of the day. All the man does is walk around the office. He gets more steps than an Olympian.
I actually suggested something, and I'll bring it up to you now. I want us to do a sleepover stream at the Karmazin Manor. Because Craig
love it.
Craig said he's willing to trade houses with me, and I told him, listen, okay, Craig, my house to you is an outhouse. It's not a real house. It's like a room. It's one bedroom. It's a wing. That's what it is.
It's a wing.
I'm more than happy to have KBN come and do that, and we do our show live from there. We do a stream overnight thing where we have good people from Good Karma Brands come and join us on the stream and have a great time where people can watch us.
I love it. If Craig's on board, I can't rent out Craig's house to you all.
Did he not offer?
He did offer.
If Craig's into it, then I think it's a great idea.
Do we bust out some cots on the basketball court, or what do we do?
I mean, the man's got like 15 beds in that house.
Yeah,
I think
we could sleep in other. We'll figure out.
There's a special sleepover room in the home.
Yeah,
is there?
Oh yeah, there's 4 bunk beds. You guys can all stay in that same
trio
room
style.
I would not.
A little bit different than the Thunder Trio style, but yes.
We'll stay in there. We'll be able to shoot hoops in the basement.
Shoot hoops in the basement. Now, I think there needs to probably be some ground rules created, and probably Craig needs to create those ground rules.
Punt competition outside, so you can punt it the furthest into Lake Michigan.
Yeah.
I think Brad Nortman might have a leg up on that one.
No, I don't know if it's like when you went to your friend's, your friend's house for a sleepover growing up, or it's like there's certain rooms that are off limits. Like you can't go in this bedroom, you can't go in that bedroom.
Sneaking around.
I mean, the one time I was there where Ben Brust happened to be at the house, he kept touching everything, and I kept getting nervous, being like, man, like I don't think you're supposed to touch that.
Touching stuff as a grown man,
completely on brand for him.
Like big art pieces, and, it's a beautiful home.
Here's the issue: is I would probably do the same thing.
I know, because you are like a descendant somehow of Ben Brust.
Stop saying that.
Mischievous guys.
I'm curious. I've got a grand level of curiosity, and I think that's a good thing. I think that's a good quality of mine.
So anyway, next time there's a furry convention in town, I'm looking at you, Maddie. We got to get Brust over there with a tail coming out.
Google furry as
I just feel like he'd be disrespectful. Don't you feel like he'd be disrespectful to those people?
Would it be entertaining?
They enjoy? See, here's the thing. Benny does get uncomfortable. I feel like that would be a setting in which he got uncomfortable. So, like,
Ben does not get uncomfortable.
Oh, that's not true. Maddie puts a camera in his face. All of a sudden, he starts whispering for the only time in his life.
I sat at a bar in Milwaukee. Me and Torey Lowe, who still appears on KBN,
T-Lo.
right?
T-Lo.
Me, Torey Lowe, and Josh DiMaggio. And Josh DiMaggio got so uncomfortable with this, he literally had to leave.
Oh, when he went on a date with a blow-up doll?
This bar that's no longer around, this restaurant, actually, it's a date spot called Balzac, right? No longer here.
Oh, yeah.
And Ben Brust brought a blow-up doll for an hour and 20 minutes and sat outside with all other people who had no idea he was doing this as a bit and did a full-on date with a blow-up doll in their patio, feeding her, providing water for her, telling people not to be looking or to take pictures of him, and then complaining to a server that Torey Lowe was trying to take a picture of him and how disrespectful that was, never broke character once, and did not become uncomfortable whatsoever. So him going to a furry convention is just a day at the park.
Yeah, I'm telling you, that's a different guy. That's pre-baby. Post-baby,
That's a different guy.
He just talks about, man, I just wanted to go home and
so
lay on
tired.
the couch. And, I was
Just want to eat pretzels and watch college basketball.
Yeah, you guys just got to challenge him more.
We'll try to push him, but I am nervous. I don't think you should be touching these people's tails. I think that might be an issue, and I feel like he might want to grab at it.
Yeah,
they're grown people, right? You know,
he might get punched.
It's all right. It'd make for some good. It'd make for some good video.
Yeah, that's true. I won't argue with that.
All right, you guys gave me credit for not derailing the show. I derailed the show.
Good.
We'll bring it back on track. Jair Alexander, do you want him on the Green Bay Packers? Plus, more disappointing loss over the weekend. Was it Wisconsin? Was it Marquette? Do either of them matter as we get closer and closer to March? We'll hit it all next. Sunday Karma, 800-990-3776. Hit us up on the Carbos Talking text line.
This is Sunday Karma with Craig Karmazin on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com. Will Myles Garrett be in Green Bay next season?
You add a Myles Garrett without giving up a ton, all of a sudden now you start looking, well, then they got Edgerrin Cooper at the next level. Oh, and then they got Xavier McKinney at the next level. Oh. The Packers have an opportunity here to make the big splash, and I think they should go and do it.
Stay up to date on all your Packers off-season news with Wilde and Tausch. Weekdays from 9 to noon on 94.5 ESPN and streaming live on the ESPN Milwaukee YouTube channel.
I'm excited about it. You know, these cutting-edge things that are new in medicine now, I'm all in on it. I'm all in on QC Kinetics. It works.
Henry Hinton decided to check out QC Kinetics regenerative treatments for his aching knees after seeing a close friend have amazing results without going under the knife.
I have a friend that started this, which is one of the reasons that I decided to do it. He could not play golf anymore, and he went to QC Kinetics and started having the treatments, and he's back golfing like 3 days a week. He couldn't play at all.
QC Kinetics gets you back to doing what you love, using your own natural biologics to help heal and restore damaged joints. Long-term relief that puts a guy back on the golf course.
You know, I've had one treatment so far, and I can already tell a difference. QC Kinetics works. I'm excited about it.
You're next. Start with a call to QC Kinetics.
Call QC Kinetics, 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. 414-285-3474.
Each year, more than 23,000 kids experience cardiac arrest, and nearly 20% are infants. Every second counts in a cardiac emergency. Did you know performing CPR on a child or infant can double or even triple their chances of survival? This Heart Month, the American Heart Association and 94.5 ESPN Milwaukee urge you to learn child and infant CPR and be ready to save the lives of those you love. Know CPR so you are ready when you bring your baby home, ready as your child grows, and ready when it matters most. To learn more, visit heart.org.
Hi, this is John Neal, CPA and founder of the Neal Group. I have a question for you business owners. How do your books look? Are they ready for your tax return to be prepared? Did you and your accountant talk during the year and develop a plan to minimize your tax bill? Or does this sound like you? You can never get a hold of your CPA. Phone calls are not returned and questions are never answered. Your books are a mess and the bank account hasn't been reconciled since last year. You don't get any advice to help you run your business. That's not the case with the Neal Group. We are advocates and partners with our clients to help them grow. We like to work with you throughout the year to keep your books up to date so you run your business profitably. Are you ready to grow your business, improve cash flow, have less stress, and live a better life? We can help. Call us at 414-325-2040 or visit nealgroup.net to book a meeting and see if we can help. The first meeting is free. Don't wait. Do it now. That's 414-325-2040 or nealgroup.net.
Wisconsin is still cattle country. And that's why Bunzel's chose to stay close to home to hand select the finest beef. Quality goes into everything they do, from Bunzel's expansive array of meats, homemade specialty sausages, and their award-winning beef jerky. It just isn't a proper holiday meal without Bunzel's top quality cuts on the dinner table. Tasting is believing. Visit Bunzel's at 90th and Burleigh or bunzels.com.
They say seeing is believing, and when you see what's inside at American Place Casino, you better believe you're gonna love it. Because when it comes to amazing gaming, we're a real game changer. With the most exciting of table games like blackjack, craps, and roulette, the newest slots, a sportsbook, restaurants, bars, and more. So if you're ready for excitement, we'll see you soon. American Place Casino. Change the game.
Must be 21 years of age or older. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, crisis counseling and referral services can be accessed by calling 1-800-GAMBLER, 1-800-426-2537.
Start the day with Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
Can't get to the Super Bowl in early October, but they are not playing like a team that has those types of aspirations right now.
Right here on 94.5 ESPN and also streaming live on the Wisconsin On Demand app and at ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube.
Weezy out of here. Send behind 5%. You can see the G name
on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
For Google, man, they know my nickname. Drop the Maybach truck on a watch and it was plain Jane. Let the door swing the door off and smell cool. Traffic and drug money, you trap out is rolling. Stepped out in mud, can't wait to tie my shoelace. Ocean like girls, bet this money make it so gay.
Sunday Karma across ESPN Wisconsin. No Craig Karmazin.
Look at Greg knowing the drop.
Gotta wait for it. Kyle Wallace bringing the energy. Alex Strofe shaking his head. I'm Greg Scalzo. 800-990-3776. 800-990-ESPN.
These Boston folks is cultured, I see. Craig would be interrupted. What is this? What is that?
It seems
just knew he could feel it. He knew when the drop was going to come.
This is now the fourth time Kyle has complained about Craig today.
No, it's different.
Is there something going on where you got an issue? You got a bone to pick with Craig?
I'm just so surprised about the fact that Greg has hit all the drops. He knew all the like he's waited.
What is surprising about Greg Scalzo being a good radio host? I'm confused.
He's just never produced for me here.
I've never produced a show with Greg. And I love doing shows with Craig. I do because I love the spontaneousness. I love how off the rails we get. But it's just different. 2025 has been Sugar Honey Iced Tea show. Can I say that?
Sure.
Yeah, sure.
Has it not been that?
We don't know. Here's the problem is that none of us ever talk about the show except for the 2 hours that we're on the show, which is Craig's brilliance because it's funny when we're talking about the show on the show, but at the same time, it does create some volatility. Like, I will say us talking about Dirty Al Gallagher was 30 minutes of very entertaining radio. But then that next week was a little bit...
On the day of a Packers playoff game, mind you.
Yeah. So it's been a little all over the place. Highs and lows.
Now, Kyle, it's been mostly you and me in 2025.
That is true, yeah.
With
a dabble of Craig somewhere.
We've done fine.
Yeah, we've done
I wouldn't say it's probably our best work, admittedly.
No, yeah, last week was interesting.
What did we do last week?
See, that's the problem. It wasn't memorable.
It's true. Oh, Badgers. We talked a lot of Badgers last week.
That's why it wasn't memorable.
I have to imagine in that Badgers conversation, UW Green Bay was brought up a minimum of 6 times by Alex Strouf.
Yeah, he definitely brought it up. Probably.
He really loves that Green Bay Phoenix team.
Well, they did win last week, so I think they were brought up. You're right.
Kiefer Sykes led team that never won an NCAA tournament game that he says was an amazing team that everybody should remember.
Brought Wisconsin to overtime when they were a top 5 team in the country.
I want to get to college basketball, but quickly here, Jair Alexander potentially going to get cut this offseason.
Not potentially. You can get rid of the word potentially.
It feels like it's going to happen, right? Do you guys agree with that decision? We're talking about the defense needing to get better, right? We're talking about the Packers needing to change their ways. Well, Jair Alexander is a top 5 cornerback in the NFL when healthy. The Packers traditionally like to cut these guys and use that, cap space to make sure that for years and years ahead that they're in good shape. Now, we've seen other teams, particularly the Philadelphia Eagles, say, you know what? We're not going to worry about what our cap situation is in 3 or 4 years because every year the cap continues to move up. And we're going to continue to reinvest in really talented players, and we'll figure out a way to rearrange the cap on the back end. And sure, at some point, will it punish us? Yes, but maybe not as badly as everybody thinks in the moment. The Packers, however, play very conservative when it comes to the cap. Do you guys think that it is the right move for Goody to continue the way that he normally does business and ultimately get rid of Jair Alexander, who, when healthy, is, I would almost say undisputedly, the best player on this Packers defense?
So first off, yeah, I agree with that. But when healthy, if he's healthy, been too many wins and ifs the last 2 years. The guy's played less than half of the games the last 2 seasons. He hasn't been available. There was a line in a Rob Demovsky article last week or 2 weeks ago that there was multiple people within the organization that were upset he didn't push it enough. He was cleared to play and didn't play multiple times this season, essentially is what that quote said to me within the Demovsky article, which you can find at ESPNWisconsin.com. Goody last year had to reinvent the safety position. He signed Xavier McKinney in free agency. He drafted Javon Bullard and Evan Williams, who both had really nice rookie seasons, across McKinney, who had a really nice first season in Green Bay. All pro level at the safety position. This offseason, cornerback needs to be the position that's reinvented. Now, you'll return Carrington Valentine and self-proclaimed CB1 Keyshawn Nixon. But other than that, you don't got much back. Eric Stokes is a free agent. Jair's going to get cut, probably, like you mentioned earlier. I think you save over $16 million by designating that as a post-June 1st cut, which is a nice chunk of change that you can go invest in free agency in a guy who's been healthier. So I think between the first-round pick, if they do end up hanging on to that and not trading for a bona fide superstar at edge, you draft a corner, you sign a corner in free agency, and you try to do what you did with the safety position a year ago, which obviously worked out well in the Packers' favor when Goody invested in free agency and drafted some pieces. Can he do it again at corner? That's going to be a big question of the offseason.
The big thing with saving from a cap perspective is if you're not willing to spend it elsewhere, then you're actually not gaining anything.
Great point.
And if we're thinking that this Packers team is at a point in year 3 of the Jordan Love experiment, right? In year 3, I wouldn't even say experiment. In year 3 of Jordan Love, where I think most folks are ready for this team to take a step from being, oh, it's nice to be in the playoffs again, to, hey, can we potentially make a run at getting to another Super Bowl for the first time in 15 years? You're going to need to invest, and you're going to need to be bold, and you're going to need to take some chances. And if you don't have another cornerback to invest in, then I don't know what's better about that than going back with a Jair Alexander.
I hear you. But the guy, has, and it seemed like maybe it was a little bit better last year, but he hasn't been the best teammate, right? He's thrown both coaches and other players under the bus, Aaron Rodgers style. Hasn't played when he's been cleared, like I just referenced. Can you count on him to do that in 2025? I don't know, right? I agree with your point wholeheartedly.
Yep.
If he's healthy, he's probably the best player on the Packers defense. But it's been way too big of an if, and it's totally reminiscent of another All-Pro offensively who went through similar situations in David Bakhtiari. It's better to move on than try to chance it again, because if you view Jair Alexander as your top corner entering 2025, come the postseason, which the Packers are hopefully back in next year, is your top corner available, or is he dealing with another long-term injury? And I don't think that's a road you want to go down for a third year in a row.
And I think the biggest thing is that Jair Alexander doesn't want to be here anymore, right? And the Packers don't want to have him here anymore. And so once you get to the point where the relationship no longer is beneficial and you don't want to be somewhere, then that's where you have other issues if you try to keep him around that will arise. They tried last year. What are you looking at?
You asking me?
Yeah, you're looking back and forth.
Yeah, I just... Is everything all right at home?
Everything's fantastic
okay,
at home.
You've made several relationship analogies about breakups today. I'm just making sure everything's okay.
The Green Bay Packers we're literally talking about a breakup that the Green Bay Packers are going to have with Jair Alexander.
But
They're all pro corners.
You've had different relationship analogies for Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Adams, and Jair Alexander.
Because
are you like reliving past trauma as we dice through some of these situations for Green Bay that you want to acknowledge?
No,
because,
not at all.
Hey, man, we're all ears, right?
No,
it's just us for a moment. If you need to kick back on the therapy couch, we're more than willing to listen to you.
I don't need therapy, thank goodness. I'm sane and whole. I'm not saying therapy makes you not sane or whole, but saying it helps make you whole. I'm already whole without therapy. And then on top of that I'm just telling you is that a breakup is on the horizon with Jair Alexander. And I'm saying when you already have a guy who says at his locker that I have nothing good to say, that's not a guy that you want to keep around. If he has nothing good to say about his teammates around, the team that made the playoffs, a team that fought hard this season, and he has nothing good to say, you don't want him around. So you already know. And the Packers are putting out there through Rob Nabowski and other people that they don't want him around either. So the Packers should cut him. I mean, it is. And I love Jair Alexander, but I just know that it has run its course. It's over.
It's tough to lose a 28-year-old all-pro cornerback who seems like this next year for him would be a prove it year, right? If he wants his money, if he wants another contract. If he wants another contract, though, he's going to need to perform at a high level next season. And if we're talking about a talent deficiency on the offensive side and the defensive side of the ball, and a fan base that is expecting Super Bowl caliber team and a division where Detroit's got more cap room, more talent on both sides of the ball than Green Bay does, it just seems precarious to let one of your most talented players go because you can't seem to get him on the field and the culture piece isn't right. Now, Chef Ed chimes in and says, if he's healthy, and that's a big if, I definitely want Jair on the team. And Appleman, hopefully on a beach somewhere. Still a little too cold to get back into the orchard. Appleman chimes in and says, we need to move on from Alexander. He is a cancer in the locker room. So, two different opinions there. 800-990-ESPN, 800-990-3776. Now, quickly before we get to Jason Wilde, bad loss for Marquette against Villanova on Friday night. Maybe even worse loss yesterday for the Badgers, blowing, a 15-point lead at home at the Kohl Center to go to overtime with Oregon, and then Oregon ends up winning the game in overtime. Two bad losses for two teams that are really playing well so far this college basketball season. Do either concern you as far as the goal and the potential for these two college programs to make some noise come March, and hopefully here at Fiserv Forum, given that they'll be hosting the first weekend of the NCAA tournament?
Yeah, I'm much less concerned about the Badgers than I am Marquette. The Badgers, and Benny Bruss pointed this out on Twitter yesterday, when they face a talented big man, they really struggle. And we talked about that earlier in the week on Kyle Bruston Nortman. Stephen Crowell has had some big games this year, but man, has he had some bad ones too. But I'm much less concerned about this versatile Wisconsin team. Yes, I am. This Marquette team, man, they have completely stalled offensively the last month or so. I think they've lost 4 of their last 5. I mean, this is rightfully so concerning. You're 3 weeks away from Selection Sunday. You're 2 weeks away from the Big East tournament out in New York. And this is a team that I think everybody viewed as this should be a top 10 team all year long. And they are clearly not playing anywhere near that level right now. Now, I still believe they're well coached enough, they're pesky enough defensively to make some noise come the NCAA tournament. But, man, they've got to flip a switch fast. They've got to turn a corner fast because offensively this has been a nightmare the last month or so.
I mean, I think we're just looking at two teams that their ceiling is Sweet 16. That's why I'm not super excited. Like, I enjoy watching the Wisconsin
I think Wisconsin's ceiling can be higher than that, but they need favorable matchups, to your point.
Yeah, they just, I mean, Tanji has played fantastic, but they just don't have it. Like, when it gets down to these tight games, I don't see Wisconsin making a magical run to the Final Four or even going to the Elite Eight. The Sweet 16 is getting to the second weekend is the mountaintop for the Wisconsin Badgers this year.
It's hard for me to say that when we're 2 or 3 games removed from them going to Purdue and putting up 94 points and winning that game.
Do we think Purdue is going to make a run this year? They're not the same good Purdue team. I mean, they
got a really good backcourt.
They lost back-to-back games. They lost to Wisconsin. I think they went to Michigan State and lost as well. I'm not saying Wisconsin isn't good. I'm just saying when I look at national championship type teams, I just don't feel like this team has it or the juice. They ain't got the guys. They just don't have the guys this year.
So the one thing I will say about this Badgers team is that offense is good enough where they can score, and when you can score, you can win. I still think both these teams definitely have Sweet 16 potential.
I agree.
I think it's one of those things where when you watch a team for a while, you know all their flaws. When you start watching all these other teams in college basketball too, outside of maybe the top 3 or 4 teams, as is the case most years, there's a lot of flaws in college basketball. When you look at some of those top 10, top 15, top 25 teams around college basketball. We'll get back to the Packers. Jason Wilde joins us next here, Sunday Karma, across ESPN Wisconsin.
It's Sunday Karma with Craig Karmazin on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
One call, that's all. Gruber Law Offices. Not a marketing slogan, a way of life. a passion. It's what fuels the team at Gruber Law Offices. Also what fuels this team, Wisconsinites, right? They're here. They're local. They're all out of the Milwaukee office, and they're supporting people throughout the state of Wisconsin. That's a passion that comes through. So when you hear one call, that's all, it's not a marketing slogan. It's the reason why they're out at all these community events. It's the reason they're supporting the organizations that you care about. It's the reason they're cheering on the same teams that you cheer on. It's because they are family-owned and a local Wisconsin team, just like the ones you cheer for. So at Gruber Law Offices, you now know why it's one call, that's all.
How would you like to own a jewelry store?
Kessler's Diamonds is an employee-owned company.
And Kessler's is growing. Are you the kind of person we're looking for?
Does it make you happy to make other people happy?
Are you a problem solver?
Would you like to wake up every morning knowing that you're going to help a lot of people find joy today?
Kessler's Diamonds is people serving people.
Keep in mind that Kessler's is owned by its employees. So let me ask you this. Are you a good enough leader that you can be an owner who leads other owners?
Don't worry, you don't have to know about diamonds. We can teach you about diamonds. But the people we're looking for aren't looking for a job.
Did someone pop into your head just now?
Do you think you might know who we're looking for?
Give that person a call.
Send them an email.
Tell them to walk into Kessler's Diamonds and say to the person who greets them,
I think I want to work here.
Welcome to Kessler's.
A fantastic place to buy jewelry and a wonderful place to work.
For the store nearest you, visit KesslersDiamonds.com.
Now at Menards, save big money on everything to update your home. Easily create your dream kitchen with Clearview Cabinetry. With so many styles to choose from, you'll be sure to find plenty of options that you will love. Start your project today and save big on Clearview Cabinetry. Visit Menards.com to view our entire selection of Clearview cabinets today. Plus, check out the weekly flyer for many other great deals happening this week.
Save big money at Menards.
Wisconsin Indoor Golf Center is hosting another Scramble tournament with $1,000 in cash prizes available. Hey, ESPN Milwaukee, this is Gary Ellerson, and Wisconsin Indoor Golf Center invites you to play in a two-man scramble at TPC Scottsdale, all from their comfortable golf simulators. Grab a friend and sign up today at WisconsinIndoorGolfCenter.com. The tournament costs $120 per pairing and is happening now through February 28th. Your winter chance to play TPC Scottsdale awaits. WisconsinIndoorGolfCenter.com.
The second half of the basketball season is here, and the race to the playoffs is heating up on Prize Picks, the best place to cash in on your favorite sports. With over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings, Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. The app is really simple to use. Pick 2 or more players across any sport, pick more or less on their projection, and you can win up to 1,000 times your money. Don't miss your chance to cash in as the league's best fight for playoff positioning. Join Prize Picks, America's #1 daily fantasy sports app, available to play in more than 40-plus states, including California and Texas. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code WI. Get $50 instantly when you play $5. That's code WI on Prize Picks to get $50 instantly when you play $5. Win or lose, you'll get $50 for just playing. Guaranteed. Prize Picks, run your game. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details.
Food's here at Quick Trip, and it's ready when you are. Hungry and on the go? How about a corn dog? Crispy golden cornmeal batter coating around a juicy hot dog. So delicious. Craving pizza? Quick Trip's Pothole Pizza is just what you need. Thin, crispy crust and a savory sauce, piled high with a blend of cheese. Food's here. Fuel up at your one-stop shop for snacks and meals that hit the spot. Only at Quick Trip.
It's Sunday Karma with Craig Karmazin on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
even know how I should feel. I got a couple big houses and some wish, maybe 3. And I got family members that got bigger egos than me. And I got fans around the world whenever.
Sunday Karma across ESPN Wisconsin. Alex Strove, Kyle Wallace, myself, Greg Scalzo. No Craig Karma's in today. Excited to be joined by Jason Wilde, whom you hear every day across ESPN Wisconsin from 9 to noon. How are you, Jason?
I'm great, guys. How are you?
We are fantastic. A lot of Packers conversation this morning, and I guess where I would love to start with you is I think there's a desire from the Packers fan base for Brian Gutekunst to maybe stray from the norms of the Packer organization, whether it's to target a Davante Adams in free agency or to go out and make a trade for a big defensive player or in some cases, as Rob Demovsky wrote on ESPN.com, potentially not cut a Jair Alexander. What is the likelihood that Goody strays from the norms given where this team is at in the perceived window of LaFleur and Jordan Love?
Yeah, it's an outstanding question because I can see this going a variety of ways, except for them bringing back Jair Alexander. I will be happy to come on the program and say that I was 1,000,000% wrong, but that feels like that is not going to happen, and that's the most polite way I can put that. Because, first of all, he has missed 20 of the last 34 regular season games. Secondly, there's clearly some frustration within the organization, and has been for a while, with how this has all played out. You could certainly see from LaFleur a similar style of frustration with Jair as he had with David Bakhtiari during that era of injury uncertainty. But most importantly, I think the players are making it pretty clear that they don't expect him back. Josh Jacobs going on Radio Row, and while the number one wide receiver thing got all the headlines, he said they needed a corner. Keyshawn Nixon proclaiming himself CB1 and saying that he's no longer going to return kicks. You don't say that if you think Jair Alexander, who is CB1, even if in name only, is going to be back. So that I don't see that happening. I'm open to being wrong, but the reason this is such a good question is because there's mixed signals from Goody, and there are different pressure points that he's dealing with. One of the things that I've always disagreed with is the old saying that if you listen to the fans, sooner or later you're going to end up sitting with them, which I get, and it's funny, but the fact of the matter is that sometimes what fans want isn't the wrong thing. You know, whether that's Davante Adams, whether that's spending draft capital to trade for, or spending big money to sign an unrestricted free agent pass rusher. Like, that may be what's best for this team, and maybe that aligns with what Goody will end up doing. But, you know, whether it's acquiring Max Crosby or Trey Hendrickson or somehow Myles Garrett, or it's bringing back Davante Adams after he gets cut by the Jets, whatever that looks like, that would excite the fan base a ton. The problem is that I think I have a sneaking suspicion that down deep inside, I think Goody thinks he has most of the pieces he needs, and he just needs those pieces to play better. He needs Dontavion Wicks and Jaden Reed to make bigger jumps than they did from year one to year two, and he believes they can do that. He needs, Romeo Doubs to be bought in and focused, and also not concussed like he was twice in the final 8 weeks. He needs Jordan Love to play at a higher level. And one of the things that I thought he was pretty clear about after the season was that he believes they've got the right guys in the pass rush, and they fired the position coach now. So I think he thinks that those guys in his second year in the system, having invested the way he has in LVN and Rashawn Gary, and Kenny Clark, he thinks that those guys are good enough. So if they do go out and get Max Crosby, it'll be a case of, as Tausch always tells us, don't listen to what they say, watch what they do. And if he does something like that, then we'll know that that wasn't how he really felt about that group. So all those things, and then add to it the fact that they've got all these guys on maturing rookie contracts. That was what I wrote about today, is that it might be more prudent to squirrel this extra salary cap space away and use it to re-sign some guys that are all coming to, like both their starting tackles are heading into their walk years. Both of those first-round picks, they're going to have to decide on the fifth-year options. Both of those wide receivers from the 2022 draft, Watson and Dobbs, are in contract years. So there's a lot of moving pieces here, and I think it's anybody's guess whether Goody actually spends a big chunk of that $46.1 million effective salary cap space to add from the outside.
Jason Wilde with us here on Sunday. Karma, Alex Strofe, Greg Scalzo, Kyle Wallace hanging out with you on this Sunday morning. Jason, I want to go back to your sneaking suspicion at wide receiver, because it feels to me, and again, this might be a fan who's wrong or a fan who's right saying this, it feels like malpractice to just run it back at wide receiver, especially with Christian Watson expected to miss, we would assume, a majority of the regular season. I believe Jayden Reed will be a really good receiver in the NFL at some point, and he's shown some great flashes. I believe Dontavian Wicks has the raw ability to turn into a really nice piece eventually. I just feel like they could use an upgrade, a facelift, and as you know, I'm very stubborn on, I think Davante Adams is the answer this offseason. Do you feel as if it would be malpractice or a shortcoming to not address it in some capacity, the receiver position?
What if you drafted one in the second round? Because Lord knows they don't draft first-round wide receivers.
Correct, yeah. Javon Walker, the last one, and I think he's like 50 years old at this point. No,
Dang.
Probably not that old, but he's got to be in his 40s for sure. He's drafted in 04. I don't know. That doesn't feel like it's an immediate impact. It kind of feels like you're going back to what Jayden Reed was his rookie year, which was a nice piece, but does that really take you over the top in a really tough division? I would say no in year one.
Well, first of all, you're preaching to the choir, because obviously I am a huge proponent of the Davante Adams piece, not just because he's one of my guys, but more importantly, I just think he's the perfect fit, because he's not, and you heard me talk about this on weekly, or now I guess it'll be monthly.
Yeah, occasional Wildy.
Yeah, as long as they don't spell weekly Weakly, then we're good.
Okay, I'll talk to our team about changing that. Sorry.
It's kind of like board. Never mind. BORED. Look, I think there's a couple pieces here. One, I think Davante Adams, instead of a T. Higgins that you would have to pay the trade cost of acquiring once he gets franchise tag, and then pay him a large contract, you're also committing to him based on your expenditures for him to be your number one wide receiver for the next 4 to 5 years. Whereas Davante Adams would cost less, could still be your number one wide receiver for 25 and 26 and be able to be that guy and allow Jayden Reed and Dontavian Wicks and Romeo Dobbs and Christian Watson, if you retain them all, to grow in his shadow but still grow into that role the way Davante did in the shadow of Jordy Nelson, and the way Jordy Nelson did in the shadow of Greg Jennings, and the way Greg Jennings did in the shadow of Donald Driver, and so on and so on. Instead, the way they've done it, there was nobody that those guys could grow into the number one role while still being productive contributors, but not having to be the guy. And the ensemble cast has not paid the dividends that Goody thought it would. So to me, malpractice is a very strong word. I'm not willing to use that, because I think there's a chance that he decides that he would rather go with young guys and believe that Jayden Reed and Dontavian Wicks, after dropping a combined 19 passes this season, are going to be motivated to be way better. But the Watson injury is a huge wild card, because are you ready? Have you seen enough from Bo Melton and Malik Heath and whoever you draft to say, no, we're good, we're just going to keep rolling with these guys? I personally don't think so. You don't think so. But that's not necessarily what Goody thinks, and I can't wait to find out if he thinks like we do or he's not like us.
Talking to Jason Wilde.
That was a Kendrick Lamar reference.
That was, yes. I'm learning the music now after the
Look
Super
at
Bowl.
Wilde's a K-Dot guy. How about that?
You like that guy?
How about that?
No Drake guy?
Wilde doesn't know what he is. He's just trying to learn.
You're right. I don't know who I am. That's 1,000,000% true.
I would love an update for those media members in the locker room if there's less Drake played this upcoming season now than there was previously based on all these
hard-hitting journalism.
All of these rivalries. But quickly, Jason, Aaron Rodgers, now the favorite is the Rams as far as his landing spot per Vegas, right? So with the Matthew Stafford news that comes out yesterday that he's willing, the Rams are willing for him to talk to other teams, that has accelerated the favorite, followed closely by the Raiders and the Steelers. And, of course, the Vikings are there as well. We know that you're not a fan of any particular team or even player, but as a storyteller, where would you like to see Aaron Rodgers end up next season for the pure story of it all?
Well, first of all, I want him in the league. I understand, there are some people who love all the stuff he says, and then there's others of us who maybe wish he would pick his spots a little differently. I obviously want him with the Vikings. I want him to do full Favre and be able to watch that storyline evolve. My second choice, though, is the Rams. One of the things that I've always found fascinating, and people forget this, is after the 2020 season when he won his third MVP, and then he didn't show up for anything and was disgruntled, two teams inquired about his availability. One was the Rams before they traded for Stafford, and the Packers said no, because they knew Jordan Love wasn't going to be ready. But the other one was the 49ers, who did not do it through proper channels. Sean McVay and their brain trust went through the proper channels. There have long been allegations. The Packers chose not to pursue it. But I think everyone knows that they were tampering with Rodgers. Now, ultimately, the Packers kept him, and he won another MVP. And then they kept him for another year, which is proof that they knew Jordan Love still wasn't ready, but that's neither here nor there. So the Rams, to me, would be fantastic. I did say this, though. I said this on Homer's show one of the nights last week with John Anderson. I would recommend to him, though, that he go in wherever he lands, because I do want him to play, and I don't believe that he's ready to retire. I think someone as competitive as him is not going to be willing to end his NFL career on a performance like last season. But I hope he goes in and says, I'm going to be all about ball. I am not going to allow myself to be a distraction. I'm going to be fun Uncle Aaron with all the young guys. I'm going to be more open and willing to let the coaches coach, and I'll adjust offensively to some of the things. They don't have to do it my way or the highway. I would love for him to kind of embrace that, whether it's with the Rams or wherever else he might be, because I think that would be a fantastic way for him to go out, take a team to the playoffs, be that kind of teammate and guy, change the narrative, because the narrative right now about him is that he's washed. And if you watch, I went back on NFL Plus and watched some of the games that I didn't watch while the Jets were actually playing them. He can still sling it. He doesn't move the way he did, but if he's invested and if he's surrounded with a good team and he's in a great mind spot, I think he can still play like hell. And I'm eager to see him do that.
Jason, appreciate the time. As always, everybody tune in, of course, to Will Diatash, weekdays 9 to noon across ESPN Wisconsin. Thanks, Jason.
All right, fellas. Take care. Be good.
Palermo's Picks up next on Sunday Karma.
This is Sunday Karma with Craig Karmazin on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
Whether you're about to graduate high school or have been in the workforce for years, it's time to take control of your future. Welcome to Lakeland University, where you call the shots. We use our flexible learning formats to customize your degree path. In-person, online, and virtual classes are all available. Lakeland University is designed around you, your goals, your schedule, your future. You can even earn up to 25% of your degree via paid work experiences. Ready to take control of your future? Let us customize an education to fit your needs. Visit lakeland.edu/ESPN to learn more.
Ready to tackle your home improvement project this winter? Exterior Pros and Baths is here to help you score big with quality home exterior and shower upgrades. As a 5-time President's Club Award winner, Exterior Pros is not playing around. With flexible financing, it's never been easier to invest in your home without breaking the bank. Get started today and save $2,000. Visit extpros.com or call 262-800-4274. That's 262-800-4274. Trust the pros and kick off your home transformation today.
Hi, this is John Neal, CPA and founder of the Neal Group. Happy New Year. How's business? Do you really know? We recently worked with several clients who thought they knew, but they didn't because their books were not in order. Imagine thinking you were making $1 million, but because your books are a mess, you were really only making $200,000. Quite a difference. Imagine finding out expenses were not recorded properly or sales were double recorded. If these happen to you, we can help. We work with our clients to clean up their books and give them the information they need to know where their business is now and where it is going in the future. Don't wait. Start on the path to less stress, more cash in your pocket, and no more sleepless nights. Call us at 414-325-2040 or visit neilgroup.net today to book a meeting. We can talk over Zoom, the phone, in our office, or your place of business. Yes, we like to visit our business clients. Don't wait any longer. Call 414-325-2040 or visit nealgroup.net.
For your little ones and your biggest joys, for your forever true and your fur kids too. For all the reasons you smile, get covered with dental and vision insurance from Delta Dental of Wisconsin and Delta Vision. Support your overall health so you can be your best for those who matter to you most. Call John Saganiak Jr. John Saganiak Jr., Saganiak Planning, 262-783-6161. Saganiak Planning, a name synonymous with employee benefits and top-notch service. The Saganiak Planning Marquette Basketball Greatest Scorers. Career points is nice, but the best way to judge scoring, points per game. Marquette's top 10 points per game. Number 1, Marcus Howard. Then George Thompson, Dwayne Wade, Jim Jones, and Dean Meminger, the top 5. Don Kojas, Mike Moran, Bob Wolf, Terry Rand, and Tom Flynn, the rest of the top 10, got to be above 16 per game to make the list. Over 20 points per game for a career, only Marcus Howard and George Thompson.
Hey, this is Brad Nortman, here to tell you about my friends at Bank 5-9. Everywhere I go throughout the area, I see Bank 5-9, and it's no wonder why. Not only do they have 14 branch locations, but their employees spend nearly 9,000 hours each year volunteering in the communities that they serve. That's on top of the financial support that they provide to several hundred nonprofits right here in southeastern Wisconsin. If you're looking for a true local community bank, check them out today at bank59.com. Member FDIC.
We don't just cover the green and gold. We cover the green and gold. Your home for Green Bay football talk. 94.5 ESPN and at ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube. It's that time.
Yes, it's finally here.
Craig makes his picks of the week.
You can bet the house on it.
Picks of the week on Sunday Karma with Craig Karmazin. Presented by Palermo's Pizza, Wisconsin's hometown pizza.
Can't wait to see what happens next.
On ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
Sunday Karma, no Craig Karmazin. I'm Greg Scalzo here with Alex Strofe and Kyle Wallace. We'll wrap the show as we always do here with our Palermo's picks. Of course, right now, indulge with Screamin' Sicilian Detroit style and stuffed crust pizzas on sale for just $6.99 at Piggly Wiggly, but you got to act fast because that offer ends on February 25th. So stock up on your favorites and taste what all this screaming is about. You don't do the scream? Woo! Nah, it's not. You do it. You didn't feel it. You know, there we go. Okay. We got a little bit there more.
Gotta get in the chest a little bit.
You know.
Woo! Woo!
I love me some Screaming Sicilian Palermo's.
Who doesn't love
I was
Screaming
just at Cindy's
Sicilian?
this morning. I saw some Palermo's. I got Funky Fresh this morning, actually.
Ooh.
I'm going to the parents' house and going to try some egg rolls.
There you go.
You go grocery shopping on a Sunday morning?
Sunday morning, rain is falling.
It's my karaoke song, believe it or not.
Well, we are.
Do you know I was a karaoke guy, Greg?
I could have presumed that. Yes, I could have guessed that. You don't have a whole lot of. You're not very shy. So, what do we got for the Palermo's picks today? Are we going Bucks?
Yeah, let's just go with the Milwaukee Bucks. That all of a sudden the Milwaukee Bucks are a team that do we believe they can finish in the top 4 in the Eastern Conference?
I do. I still think the Bucks have remained incredibly underrated in today's NBA landscape. I think the Kuzma stuff could end up working out really well for them. Bobby Portis obviously hurts, but
Free Bobby P.
I think this Bucks team is going to be better than a lot of folks think to end the season.
They're more athletic than they were 2 weeks ago, that's for sure. Kevin Porter Jr., nice little surprise this week. Nice game Thursday against the Clippers.
And a game last week against the Minnesota Timberwolves.
What did Giannis say? He's a steal.
He is. Marjan was doing nothing.
Yeah, he's doing a lot more than what they traded him for. So
5P Tip Family Night at Fiserv Forum tonight. Check it out. Bucks, Heat. This has been Sunday Karma. Have no idea who will be on next week, but I will be here.
I think it's all of us for once.
The whole gang is here.
Bring it back.
Peace.
This is ESPN Wisconsin.